The moms and dads in the audience wiped the tears that slipped from their eyes while the children just beamed on the risers. And then the applause began. We'd done it. But I don't do that anymore. And today on the Joyosity podcast, we're going to talk about why that matters and why it matters to you. So, if you are new to Joyosity, welcome. This is a different bit of an episode, more of a bonus and a short, let's start the new year with a deep breath type of episode. Now, we are still basing everything we do on our three bedrock beliefs. One, that true leadership requires more than just surface level strategies. Requires a profound commitment to everything that makes us human. And two, we use genuine curiosity so we can create the positive culture with all of those complex people that you work with, including yourself. And then three, joy is the heartbeat of a healthy leader and a healthy organization. So we're putting joy and fun and play right in the center of our work. So as I said, we are coming today still with my multiple beverages because you can't not have them, but really from a different angle on this New Year's Day. So let's go back to that gym where the parents were misty eyed and clapping for their children. So I stood in front of them that day as the K-8 music teacher in my first year of teaching in the first concert of the year. And they didn't know what hit them. The previous music teacher had a different approach to music education. And so concerts were rare, they were more perfunctory. And I saw concerts as a demonstration of learning and an experience for connection. So during the weeks of rehearsal before the concert, I told students to keep this one song a surprise. Like the concert was a gift, and this was the special treat inside. And we called it the Mommy Cry song. So for all of the years that I taught at that school, we created concerts that filled the gym with a connection experience full of joy and laughter. And yes, a Mommy Cry song. So not only did they love it, and it was great for their musical education, I was really good at what I did. But I've not conducted a group of music students in nearly 2 decades. So why did I stop? A dangerous myth sneaks around our culture, especially this time of year, that if you are good at something, if you have the skill, you should keep doing it. You should do more of it. You should monetize. You should show others how to do it. And the truth is, just because you're good at it doesn't mean you always have to do that work. At the start of the new year, we often think, what do I start doing? What do I do to improve myself? What do I need to do better? What if we started with a different question? What creates joy? How do I bring more joy to myself and others? Because the other damaging myth that plagues leaders, and I'm going to say, especially women everywhere, is you should be able to do it all. If you just maximize your time, if you hack the system, if you are just better, if you could get all your protein in and create amazing dinners and serve all the clients and inspire your team and slept 8.5 hours every single night. What a load of tripe. We are limited. You're limited. I am limited. And here's the thing. That's the great news. When you realize your limits, you become focused and free of the expectations of doing all the things. Now, that is very challenging for this Enneagram 7, but I have learned it sort of the hard way. When I was pregnant with our third child in as many years, my limits came crashing in on me. Teaching, childcare, parenting, leading a small group in our church, finishing grad school, having friends, growing a baby could not fit in the 525,600 minutes of a year. I had to rethink what I did. And it didn't happen overnight. It was a process because I, as I have mentioned, do not particularly like facing my limits. But what I have learned since then, and what I want you to grasp on this first day of the year is that there have been many times when I have faced my limits has brought more freedom and more joy than I thought it could. And it especially brought more than it came from doing it all. And that probably doesn't feel super motivational today. This, your typical New Year pep talk. But this way of approaching your life and your leadership is not only effective, it's sustainable. You can keep doing it for the long haul, and it is far, far more joyful. Kate Bowler and Jesse Ritchie write in their book, The Lives We Actually Have, show me what I love. Show me what I never want to lose. Show me what I no longer need here in this beautiful, limited day. So I have developed a map called the Joyosity Explorer Map just for this process. And you can get that map at jennwhitmer.com/Joyosity Explorer. So Jenn with two N's, WHITMER, M as in Michael.com/Joyosity, JOYOSIT-Explorer. And the first part of the map is asking you to brainstorm what brings you joy. Simple, right? But think right now as you're driving or making your coffee or drinking your coffee, what really brings you joy in your work, in your relationships, in your activities? You can even pause the podcast. So next on the map, what drains your joy? What leaves you weary, spent, like a wrung out rag that is dry and crusty? What's the first thing that just popped into your mind? I want you to record that. If you get the Joyosity Explorer maps, and we'll put that link again in the show notes, jennwhitmer.com/Joyosity-Explorer, there are more prompts to help you take the brainstorm that you just did in these couple minutes and take that list and make some choices for your next few months. What you want to keep working, like what's working and what do you kind of keep doing, and what's not working that you might need to pause or stop. Leaders regularly ask questions, what to stop and what to start. Great leaders start with a question before that. What is working and what isn't? And excellent leaders start with what brings joy and use that information to inform the rest of those questions and answers. I practice this pretty regularly because opportunities for change don't just happen on January 1st. You can explore joy on a Tuesday, on April the 19th, in the middle of an intense project. But there is something fitting about reflecting at the dawn of a new year. So as 2025 breaks open, you get to explore what brings you joy. Next week, we'll be back with our regular Joyosity podcast about leading with purpose before Jade Simmons joins us to continue the conversation the rest of the month. If you found this helpful, if you came up with a couple things that bring you joy or don't, I want you to come over to my Instagram today. It doesn't matter what day you're doing this or what day you heard this episode. I want you to find the post and I want you to share what brings you joy. And when you lead yourself in for this, others will follow. Because here's what we learned from Boo in Monsters, Inc. Fear will give you some energy, but it's limited. But joy can power the world. So let me put my coach hat on for just a moment. Don't just leave this here. Take a moment. What did you learn? What's your next tiny action step? Share this episode with someone and tell them what you're going to do. Check the show notes for all the links and connect with us on LinkedIn and all the other socials, or just, drop me an email at Jenn with two N's at jennwhitmer.com. We want to keep this conversation going with you. I know your earballs have a lot coming at them, so thank you for listening to the Joyosity podcast and being a part of our community. Please take a moment to rate and subscribe. It helps more people join us in the movement to create positive culture with complex people. So work is a joy, people are whole, and organizations flourish. Can't wait for you to join us next week.